Hello, Hair Tools users. I'm going to do a quick video today. Well, I don't know how quick it's going to be, but it's going to be about particle hair. A lot of people are requesting a tutorial on using hair tools, add-on for Blender, and particle hair. And this is not going to be related to Character Creator, but you can export the hair into Character Creator, of course. So let's get started. What I did already is I created a scalp. So this is basically the scalp, and I made this part that's highlighted a vertex group, and I named it Full Head. So I basically just kind of copied a part of the mesh, made a selection out of it, so it's kind of its own object here, and I subdivided it quite a bit so that I could get a good selection of what I wanted. And then, like I said, I made a vertex group because this is where we're going to generate our particles. What you're going to do is once you have that all ready to go, we're going to name this scalp. Let's go ahead and just move that into a collection here. I like to keep things organized. And we're going to go into our particle settings, and we're going to create a new particle system, a hair particle system. Actually, let me turn my screen. All right, got my screencast keys turned on for you guys. It always likes to disappear. Okay, so we're generating our particles. So obviously you're going to want to make it whatever length you're looking for. I'm going to reduce mine. And we can always cut it later to like this. And also you can create like groups of particle systems, like if you want one side of your head and the other side and maybe the back. And I know if you're really good at the whole grooming, you can pretty much do exactly what you would have done prior to using hair tools when it comes to particle hair, sectioning off and doing vertex groups. And if you're weight painting or however you do it, I know you can even throw textures in there, which is actually really nice. You can create those in any program and then throw that on there, and that's where the hair will generate from. And then the lighter the color, the less hair, or vice versa. I can't remember. But I'm just going to do a quick basic one here, just kind of going over the basics. All right, so you got your particle hair. And when it comes to the number of particle hair, this really is going to depend on what you're using it for. If you're going to be exporting it to like a video game or Character Creator iClone, then you're going to want to obviously have a lower particle count. But if you're just using it for rendering and like DAZ or even just Blender and your poly count doesn't matter, then you can go wild and have fun with that. I'm going to reduce mine to 50 because I'm actually going to throw some children in there. So if you want to do that too, you can, but whatever you want. Let me go down to our vertex groups. We're going to change this to full head. Change this back to 50. Maybe play with the seed a little bit. No, it doesn't really do anything. All right, we're just going to stick with that for now. And then we're going to go to our hair tools, add on, and I mean, you can mess around with the particles prior to doing all the going into hair tools. But I'm just going to go into the, first we got to go to particle mode, of course. So we're going to go to particle edit mode. To that there. Of course, it starts to slow down a little bit. Maybe I'll go into solid view mode here just so it's a little faster. And you're going to click on, okay, so you're going to go to hair tools, and then you're going to click on interactive or create interactive comb settings. So once you click on that, it's going to bring you to some options here, and you have the option to use the Blender child settings, which are over here. So if you are if you don't have like a poly count limit and you want to add like kink and curls and braid or whatever kink settings, roughness, and you want it to just be really like what you're used to when it comes to particle hair, then you can use the Blender child settings, and then you can play around with all the different children settings, and it's really fun. However, there's also the hair tool settings, which means it just uses these settings. You can't change anything over here. So we're going to go with that first. I can definitely do another tutorial using the Blender child settings at some point. We're going to stick with the hair tool settings. We're going to do parent strand overlay. So actually we got to go back in here. Parent strand overlay, and then we're going to go children. Oops, children density full head. And then we're going to click on interactive grooming. So then once you click on that, you're going to have your hair cards. And then the parent, or basically the parent strand overlay, these are basically going to be like your guides. And I actually want to click on the children drop down here. So then you have all your settings. I'm going to include my parent strands, which means they're going to use them. If you don't want to use them, then you would uncheck, or you would don't click that there. And you can choose how many children you want. Clumping. So if I do clumping, it can clump them up like that. If I go in here, you can kind of get more of an idea. So clumping, clump shape. So if you change the shape, so you could get some crazy looks. Change those back to 0. And again, child count makes more. So if you don't have a poly count limit, you can crank that up as far as you want. We're going to leave ours at 100. And you can randomize where you want them. You can randomize the length, randomize the rotation. Just going to leave these at 0 for now. I'm not sure what that is. Tilt aligning, we're going to align the tilt to the scalp mesh that we have there. So it's going to just align the tilt, which can come in handy. You can smooth the tilt, strength, smooth it out. You can embed the roots. I actually have this kind of underneath this, so the roots are already embedded, so you don't really need to mess with that. And then you can go into your settings here. I actually have another add-on that gives me all these features, which only works with short hair. So all of my original ones are going to be in here. So you can go to your comb setting, go to your options. You can change your deflect emitter strength. I usually do 0.50. You can change the strength of your brush and of course the radius, just like normal. And then you can start combing and grooming your hair, and it will move all your cards into position on how you want them. And again, you're only moving the guides, which then move the children. So you can kind of create whatever style you want. My strand count is pretty low, so I'm going to crank it up to 15 so that I can make sure that my roots don't intersect with my scalp. Might change the particle distance or the deflector emitter here back maybe to 1. See what happens. Give her some volume there. Go back into here. Kind of see what we're doing. I'll blur the background a little bit so you can see a little bit better what's going on. So basically you can just groom like normal. Maybe I'll turn the overlay off. I don't really know if I need that right now. So you can just kind of have fun. And again, doing like the groups can definitely make it easier when you're really trying to get a good groom. Like if you have like your bangs and you want that separate, the back. Make it look like maybe there's wind blowing in her hair or something. I add some more children in there since little, she's kind of looking like she's going bald. But it's kind of fun. Maybe we can even crank up the point count. I'm going to say I'm not really worried about my poly count limit at this point. We can turn back on the parent strand overlay, see what we're doing here. She's definitely having a rough hair day here. And then we can reset the tilt. There's this piece here that I don't like. I don't know how to get rid of it. Can't figure out where. And it kind of froze a little. That's fine. We'll just say she's in the wind. She's dancing. So her hair is like all over the place. Some stuff going on up in there. I want to get my hair that was in there. There's these like strange little guys hanging out. I'm not really sure what they're doing, but that's fine. This is just demonstration. And you can also change the width. So if I go like 0.20, they're going to get really small, or I change it to 1, they're going to get way thicker. So it really just kind of depends on what you're going for. Thicker hair cards or... Yeah, she's definitely dancing. All right, well, I mean, yeah, you can just kind of do whatever you want. So you get the look you're going for. And then you can always delete a few of them if there's some that are like not in the right spot. You can go through them and kind of get rid of them. Like, oops. Okay, so I'm just going to say this is what I'm looking for. Spend all day grooming. So once you're happy with your results, you can just go back into object mode. I usually go back to the scalp and I hide the particle system so it's not kind of interfering with my hair. And then you have hair cards. And now you can go into your normal like update profile. I usually change this to 0 so that it's less, you know, not as high poly. You can go into your resample, change that to whatever you want. I usually keep mine around 20. You can go into your hair modeling mode and you can kind of go through and you can mess around in here, like really kind of have a good time with this in here. Woo. How do I go back? Okay, get rid of that. Like, now I can actually go through, select these guys. Okay, there we go. And then I can move these guys out of the way. So they're not right in her face. Looks like there might be some inside of her head. Kind of can happen once in a while. Is it telling you the keys that I'm pressing? It looks very small. I am sorry. Font size. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. My font was really tiny. Hopefully you caught most of it, what I was doing. Okay, having too much fun in hair modeling mode. It's my favorite now that I've played around with it, which I'll do a tutorial, another tutorial at some point on hair modeling. All right, so we're gonna go back regular mode, kind of just look at it. Let's have fun and see what the poly count is. I usually would just finalize it for fun. Let's just call this hair. We're gonna move that into a new folder called curves, just to keep us organized. We're gonna go back into our hair tools. Let's just finalize that really quick. And then we're gonna see what the poly count is just for fun. And it's only 1900 now, 19,000, which is actually not bad at all. And it's like just nice quad based, fun, fast hairstyle. And yeah, it's definitely a lot lower poly than I thought. And this is just the default material on her hair. You can add your own. Actually, I'm gonna quickly apply my own really fast. I'll be right back. Okay, so I added my own material. However, it's kind of made her look a little bald. I'm just gonna edit the UV, make sure that it's not. I mean, I can't. This is mainly for when you're doing like layers, and since this was particle hair, usually you would want to kind of do more of a less transparent look. Otherwise, you're gonna have like just really thin hair unless you really thicken it up a lot. So I just did this one by itself. I tried doing some of these other ones, but it was too thin. She looked bald. I'm just trying to get over as close as I can without having the gap in there. So, I mean, it definitely looks nice. This is actually the CC3 hair shader that I'm using. What I could do, and if poly count isn't an issue, since mine is still pretty low, and actually if I resample it, I could probably have even better. I could, my dog just jumped. I could go into manually edit profile, and then I can select these, and then I can make, this is what I normally do, thicken up her hair. It's just gonna up the poly count quite a bit. And if I go to close profile, go back to her hair, now you can see it's like way thicker and it covered up a lot of there's still some missing pieces, but what we could do is add a few in there if we want, or duplicate some of them. There's some weird ones right here that I don't know about. Can maybe remove those and replace them. But this was mainly just a, quick basic. So this is kind of what it looks like. Now our poly count is probably a lot higher. Let me see what it is. Let's finalize this. And it is now. Oh yeah, 57 now. It went from 19 to 57. But if I resample, let's go to simplify, see what happens if I turn this up here. Actually change it over into this view. I might be able to see it better. I did 50. Let's see what that does. You can't really tell too much of a difference. Let's see how, let's finalize it and see how well it did. Oh, wow. Yeah, we got it down to 28. Okay, so yeah, resampling works really well. That's nice. So, quick hair. And again, this was very fast. I barely did much grooming at all. I didn't really take into consideration just, like I was talking about earlier, where you can section it off. You can do like the bangs separate. And I didn't even cut her hair. It was literally just the big afro, and then I just combed it. So there's probably a lot of strand, like smaller. It's very layered, basically. So I definitely, could do more, get different hair texture if I wanted to. And yeah. So basically that is the particle hair system using, or with hair tools. Now, I can quickly jump over to what the blender, using the blender settings, and I could probably even just keep this. So this is actually another thing you need to know as well if you haven't used the particle hair and the interactive combing. So I have my curves I just made. Now if I go back to the scalp, find it, there it is, and I go back into my particles and turn this on, and I go back into particle edit mode, and I go back to interactive grooming. So if you have multiple particle systems, or if you're kind of like using the same mesh and you're kind of maybe changing it up a bit, you have to rename your particle system. If it's the same name, you're going to run into you're going to run into issues and errors. It can be really picky sometimes. So make sure that you keep it the same. Or, I mean, you always change the name if you have other ones. But obviously, we're just going to keep this the same for now, since we're just going to we're going to re-edit. Let's say you want to re-edit it after you have your mesh in place and you look at your textures and everything and it's just not looking right and you want to change some things around, then you can go back in interactive grooming and now you can, or not. It could be because I renamed it. So it made a new one. It made a new particle system. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I renamed it. What if I rename it back? I don't know if that's going to work, actually. Let's go back. Yeah, I think I may have screwed that up by renaming it. Okay, I had back. Why is my Control Z not working? Okay, what if, can I, wait, what is it? Is it particle hair like that? Or is there a space in there? Oh, particle system. I don't know if this is going to let me do it. Let's just give it a shot and see what happens again. Okay, particle or edit particle hair, interactive grooming. Okay, so I got an error message. And yeah, so you're just don't rename it until like you're completely finished with it. Otherwise, you're going to run into that problem. What we can do is I can actually just okay, so I basically I just redid the particle system and then I redid the hair really fast so I can kind of go back and show you how this all works. So let's say you have you don't rename it, you keep it the way. I had to add a 1 at the end because like I said before, you have to rename it or you get errors. So now I have my hair. I still have these pieces here that are back, but don't worry about that. Just ignore it. So now let's say you got your hair and you want to groom it some more. So now we go into particle edit mode, or no, click on her scalp, go into particle edit mode, and make sure everything looks good. Interactive grooming, arrow, don't arrow. Okay, so now you can restyle it. Yeah, it can get picky, just got to be careful. So yeah, don't rename it and whatnot. So now and it kept the profile. So remember how I changed the profile? You can edit it with this new profile that you just had, and then with your texture on it, and now you can kind of just play around. I'm going to get rid of the overlay, and now you can just have a good time. I don't want to mess up too much, but. And then I'm going to do something with the Blender child settings just so you can see how that works. What I'm going to do. Okay, we're just going to leave it like that for now. She's dancing still and she got wind in her hair and stuff. Now we're going to go over back to our hair grooming and we're going to change this. But okay, first we're going to go into our particle settings, and I haven't done this very often. Okay, we have it set to none. We had our 50 there, none. Okay, now we're going to change this. Like I said, I really haven't played around with this much, so I may have I may just screw it all up, but we're just going to see what happens. We're going to change this to use Blender child settings. Okay, so now it's going to be using this. That's why I got rid of all the children, because I was using the hair tool settings. So now I'm in Blender child settings. Now we can go down to our children and we're going to change this to interpolated. And here. And one thing that it does is the tip is tapered, and you may not want that. So then you would have to use, since we're using the Blender child settings and not the hair tool child settings, then you go to hair shape and you're going to change your tip to just 1. So it's the same as the root. So this is where it's going to control the shape of your hair. you can still change the profile width here like normal, but when it comes to like the root and the taper, the ends, that's going to be over here. Then we can have some fun. Let's actually add some more children. Let's change this to 50. Render viewport. I'm going to change this to 7. Change this to 7. Now it's going to, oh, no, not 7. I don't think 7's too high. Okay, nice and smooth. Okay, nice. And this can definitely be a lot higher poly because I think I have a lot more hair here. But this is just kind of a demonstration. So now we're going to have some fun with the kink. Okay, we're going to change this to curl. It's probably going to go crazy at first until we change our settings around, but let's click on curl and see what happens. Oh, okay. Like I said, it's going to go crazy. So now we're going to change this to 0.005. Okay, that helped a lot. And now we're going to change our frequency to 10. Actually, let's go to 50 just for fun. Oh, 50 didn't even do anything. Let's change this to 0.1. Wow, okay. Okay, wait. Let's change. It's going to freeze a little because it's probably going to be really heavy system. Actually. Cool. Okay, I'm back. I found some good settings here. So I got the amplitude at 0.005 and I got the frequency at 9. And that created some really pretty like perm. Like she has this beautiful perm. Gorgeous. This would be really fun to actually play with when you have a really good style going. This was just, me playing around. But you can still play around and groom it and watch it in action. But anyway, I guess that's that. Pretty particle hair. Now let's see what the poly count is. Let's go into our object mode, select our hair, make sure we got the right texture on it. I was using 1. Maybe since it's higher poly, we can change it up. Ooh, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. It's a little thinner, but it's still not too bad. So now we can do what we did before. We didn't change the name, so now we can go back into particle edit mode. And you should be able to click on interactive grooming. And you should be able to go to particle settings, go to your children, and change this to like 25. And wait for it. Oh, look at that. It thickened it up big time. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's nice. Let's get rid of that. Particles. Wow. Now, if I go into hair modeling mode, can't wait to see what the particle count is. Oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy. I can get rid of it. All right. That looks nice. Very messy. She's definitely dancing, or she just got out of bed or something. Now we're going to see what the dang poly count limit is. It's going to be very, very high. We're going to rename this. Wait, we're not going to rename it just in case we want to screw around with it later. So we're just going to go ahead and finalize it. Yeah, it's taking a while. Definitely going to be huge because of those curls. But going to try resampling it. See how low we can get the poly count. We're going to hide the curves. We're going to check out the poly count. Oh my gosh. 472,000. Okay, keep that in mind. Now we're going to go ahead and hide that mesh, and we're going to go back to our curves, and we're going to resample this baby. First, we're going to resample it because it's probably going to be crazy high. And keep in mind, oh wow, 65. What happens if we change that down to like 30? It's going to like get rid of all the curls, I bet. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Now we're going to go into simplify. Change. Okay, so that dropped it to. So now we're going to see how much that helped. So if we want like a low poly version for like LODs or something, now we're going to go and check it out. I've never done a hair that high before. So yeah, 148 is still really high, but it's definitely less than the other one. So yeah, I mean, at least I got it down to that. And I know that this is definitely would be DAS worthy. 148 isn't even that bad for even game engines I know support like 100. So it is what it is, and turned out pretty cool. I don't really know what else I can show you at this time when it comes to particle hair. Hopefully you learned something from this, and if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. We kind of, all of us just kind of, this was our pretty much a first for all of us if you haven't done this before, because I really haven't played around like this before, and it was actually kind of fun. And I might start using this method a little bit more now that I kind of messed around with it. Maybe I'll start making some high poly hairstyles for people who can use them in whatever software. All right, well, have fun, and thanks for watching. And again, reach out if you have any questions.